Actually, I gotta say, before we even get started, you're one of my favorite people in the whole world, my man.
Bros, get out of
Yeah.
here. We're already going, I think. I think it's already going, but
in fact,
I appreciate that.
Blake, I've known you for a couple months now.
Hold up. Whoa, bro.
I've been thinking, will you continue producing my music for me?
I will.
Okay,
I will
okay,
continue
awesome.
producing.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you about to say live
love this
on
guy,
air
man.
right now?
I just love this guy.
Hell yes.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
Sunday's the man over here for sure. I
We
mean,
won't
no,
kiss or anything, that would be weird. And plus, it would probably break all the cameras in this entire room.
literally.
Yeah.
That's
just
funny.
Should be illegal for two guys this attractive to be in the same room.
Of course. Well, yes. But so what's refraining you from posting on social media until next year? What was like the premise behind that?
So a couple years ago, I posted weekly on YouTube, and it was fun. I had a great time.
Like shorts, or was it?
Long form. I've been doing content, long form content, filming my entire life from 2016 up until last year.
Nice.
And it was just overwhelming because I had the mentality of you have to post a certain amount of times. You have to, and my content was more like docu style, where
Right.
I come out with a piece of content maybe every 2-3 months. But to me, it's like content that when I die, I'll say, this is my life story.
Right.
It's big time content. And that couldn't really be boiled down into smaller pieces of content. And so I just kind of got overwhelmed with it. And there
It's
was
daunting.
a secondary, yes, daunting. And there was a secondary reason my business, my whole business is about helping coaches so that they don't have to post on social media. So in 2020, I said, hey, I'm going to post 0 times on social media for the entire year and triple my business. And I did it. And
It's crazy.
I actually posted once on Christmas. And so it was kind of an excuse for me to not do my personal stuff.
What was that one post on Christmas?
It got banned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A dirty Santa post,
Yeah,
or what's
I
going
thought
on?
it was Pornhub, but
Oh no.
no, it was just me saying, thanks to everybody in my life and just gratitude and
I love
cheesy
it.
stuff.
Love it. It's wild because I feel like nowadays social media is such a part of business. It's like, that's crazy to even, I didn't even know that you made that a thing. I was like, you know what, I'm going to triple my business without using social media, because usually it's in my head, it was like the opposite. Oh, if my business won't triple unless I do go all in on the social media thing.
Yeah.
So,
But that's what's burning people out. And I built my
Yeah.
own business because I wanted to create a business for myself and others that was about freedom, about mental stability, about lowering your cortisol levels, and just having an entire business set up. Because I had a business that was doing pretty well and it was stressing me out. And so I was like, you know what, let me reverse the wheels here and let me start all the way from scratch. My little team that I had was like, what are you doing? You're crazy. You finally cracked the code and now you're starting over. I was like, I want to build something that I could work like 4 days a week.
right.
Or 4 hours a day.
Right.
And I take Wednesdays off to do music, as you know. So I work 2 days, I'm off.
Or
I work
Sundays.
2 days.
To snuggle.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Sundays
Hell
are
yeah.
for snuggling.
Shout out. I love
Wednesdays-
Sunday snuggles.
Wednesdays are for music. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. No, I love that. I mean, well, diving into that, it's like, why are we even sitting here, and why are we even on this podcast, and how did we even meet, and like, why are you guys listening to us? I guess kind of just going back to, you already you got in a little bit of what you did with. So what is it that you do? Like exactly.
Just run naked down the streets. Try not to get arrested.
I feel like that I have done that before though, so that's
Yeah,
not
you-
even a joke. It's like we're just like, yeah, like run naked down the street.
You've told me multiple stories. Isn't there a term that they said when you used to get naked?
Oh, the naked mile, when you get naked at a party and you just run around the whole house. Yeah, college years were insane. Hopefully we don't dive into many of those stories, but also hopefully we do.
So tell me some college stories.
Oh no! Oh
No, I'm happy to
man.
answer your question.
What kind of college stories? No, that's
yeah.
not even.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we both connect because we both make music. We're both creatives. We both enjoy expressing ourselves through those type of mediums.
Right.
We met through Desi Marie. Shout out Desi.
Desi, shout out! Hell yes,
Dude, when I moved here, I had a goal. And I said, in the first year, I'm going to build such an amazing community. And I said, okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to
Is get
find
time at Sticky Paws,
time
right?
sticky paws, right? I said I'm going to find a mansion of some sort, and I'm going to go to all these events that I like, or find events that I like that I don't like, so on and so forth. And then when I find the ones I really like, I'm going to connect with the people who do the events.
Right.
And I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to add as much value to you as I can. I'm new here, but at least I have this space. Do you want to come host some stuff at this space? So I found the guy. He's like one of my favorite people in Vegas. His name's Brennan. And we started doing some events at his place. And it was all intentional and strategic and very planned. And then all of a sudden, this situation happened where my buddy Aliko, who is very well known in Seattle, gave me some advice. He's a mentor of mine. He gave me some advice. He said, show up to every event, even if it's just for 5 minutes, even if you don't feel like it, show up to every single event. And so Tammy, our friend, our mutual friend,
shout out Tammy.
invited me somewhere. I didn't want to go. It was cold. It was windy. I was feeling a little under the weather, but I went anyway and just did the little 5 minute. That's where I met Desi, introduced me to all these people, including you. And the funny thing is, out of all those people that I intentionally approached and strategically tried to, like, from a loving place, obviously add value to, the one person that I didn't try to do that with, that just fell in my lap essentially, was when she introduced me to you for production. And turns out you run Last Friday, and that was what I felt was more of my kind of my community, where I felt like these are like my people.
Yes.
And this is where I belong.
Well, I remember you even coming to the first Last Friday, and it was like you had never been before, and you like showed up and you're like, dude, I just felt the love. Well, because we had been hyping you up and stuff. Yeah. Like Sunday this and Sunday that. And then you came through and you said like 10 people came up to you and were like, yo, what's up, by name, or like just said, what's up, give you a hug. And you're like, oh, this is sick. Like, whoa. It's that Cheap Shot downtown, I think.
Yeah, it was a really special experience because I had been in a city before that where I felt like I tried so hard to build a community, and it just wasn't clicking. Yeah. And then I came here, and to walk in that venue and to have that again, and I say again because I used to be a music producer, and so that whole thing of like, hey, it's the producer guy, da, da, da. And now just like owning a business that I work remote, where I don't have to see anybody other than on Zoom. It's like, you don't get that anymore when you're in that kind of situation. So walking in that room, and my sister was visiting, and it was just so cool to just be like, yo, hey, what's up? Hey, do you want to get interviewed? I'm like,
I was just about to say, I'm so upset the microphone was like butchered. The recording was butchered for that interview, because it was the most authentic, like just wholesome interview that we had. I was like, oh my God, that was gold right there. And then we like went back to look at it, and it's like, I was like, oh.
Yeah, but it's more than meets the mic.
Exact. Hey, there we go. Right there. Oh, that's crazy. Well, so you lived in Portland. What was your background in Portland before you came to Vegas?
Yeah, I was born in Chicago, and we moved to Portland when I was a little kid. And when I was 13 years old, like my family lived down the street from the high school, the middle school, and the elementary school. So kids were always coming in and out of my house. I was like the house that kids would skip class and go to his house. We had a pool table, ping pong table, little beat studio,
PB&J sandwiches.
Oh, they were killing the
sandwiches.
Sandwiches. All the time. Yeah, my parents were like, where did all the lunch meat go?
Are you a square cutter or a triangular cutter in sandwiches?
I don't even think I cut the sandwich.
You don't even cut this? I feel that, actually.
Yeah.
I'm just like, give me this thing.
Yeah.
Let's go. Take a bite out of the side right there.
Yeah, and then it gives opportunity for an upgrade. Like if you date someone who cuts the sandwich, then you're like, oh, you changed my life.
Right,
and she's
exactly.
like, I got you.
Perspective on bread cutting.
Exactly. You're organized. Like, here, let me organize your room, feng shui. Let me feng shui your bread.
Feng shui.
It's more than just bread, right?
It's more than meets the bread.
More than meets the bread.
More than meets the bread. But so you produce music as well out in Portland.
Yeah, so I grew up, and when I was 15, I bought some beat machine stuff for my friend and I to rap with, and then all of a sudden, the kids started coming through and spending $20 an hour for me to make them beats and record them. So I lived there until I was 17, moved to LA, and then moved back because LA
spits 20 an hour.
Yeah, $20 an hour.
That's what I started on. I just resonated with that. I was
Right,
like, yep,
yeah.
20 an
That's
hour.
the number to
That's
start
the
with.
number to
Just like,
start on, you
no
know?
one's ever paid me $20.
20, yeah, I guess
Yeah.
$20 an hour, right?
Yeah,
Because I hear other people are getting like 80 to 100, so it's
Yeah.
like, but that's
Exactly.
crazy. But I guess, so you made a pretty big community and scene out there. You told me before in the Portland music and stuff, doing stuff like that before you came out here.
Yeah, and so it made me feel special. I could show up at the hip hop clubs and everyone would be like, "Yo, da 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 da," and that felt
You were
good.
the man. You
I was
walked in,
broke.
and you walked in, but you were broke, but you were the man.
But
still.
I was the man. Yeah, I was even getting. I had a beat website called MakeYourHit.com, and so kids would find my stuff and fly me out to Orlando or to wherever, and you know, I'd stay in their house, or if it was a really dope situation, usually like if a Vegas situation, a couple Vegas guys flew me out and like put me up in a
Nice.
hotel, you know, probably got the
Hell
cheap.
yeah.
But and
At the Luxor, you know,
yeah, right.
the Priceline rooms.
Exactly. They probably hit me with the Priceline rooms. Yeah. And so, you know, that was really fun. But when I transitioned, I went to driving Uber and Lyft. And so that was like
Out in Vegas for the first, or no, Portland?
San Francisco and Portland. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it was like music producer, but broke, to glorified taxi driver, but
Right.
happy.
Right.
Right. Like meeting
Right.
people, talking to people. And,
And
you know.
but you said you kind of just wanted to get away from the music for a second, right? You're just like, I just kind of want to reset. And
Yeah.
You're like,
I was burnt out.
right. That's crazy.
Like I met all my like childhood heroes and they all let me down. It was horrible. Yeah. Just toxic,
Sucks.
nasty stuff.
Going back to like the thing you said earlier about how this prolific interviewer had gotten all these people on the podcast, like big artists and stuff, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, I don't know, I don't get the thing behind people saying that these people are all shitty people
In the music industry, yeah.
in the music industry." But then you pointed out it was an epiphany that you were like, well,
Right.
it depends on the person you're talking to. If you're prolific interviewer, probably going to get treated a lot
Right.
more.
Yeah. Podcast
nicely.
interviewer said, I don't understand why people say the music industry is toxic. I've interviewed hundreds of people in the music industry. They've all been nothing but kind to me. It's like, obviously, you're a prestigious interviewer.
Right.
Why would they not be nice to you? But they're polishing the shoes of the people that they need to, and they're shitting on the people that they don't need to. So it's unfortunate.
Shit. That's how it be though. It sucks. Hopefully we can change that narrative. You know, that's kind of what Last Friday is for like a little bit of information on that. But it's like, yeah, we started that off of love and trying to, you know, cut that like barrier of gatekeeping, and there's your certain quality to be able to do certain things.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know, everybody come up on stage, everybody gets their shot to perform a couple songs. And so,
Yeah. It's very leveling the playing field.
Right.
Love first.
Right. Which is, it's important for people that are growing and stuff. You can't, you have to start somewhere. Everybody has to start somewhere.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like me in the studio with Blake. It's like
Right.
6,000 takes. And he's just the most patient dude you could ever imagine.
But you, like I said, it's crazy because a lot of people don't, they don't want to be critiqued. They want to think they have it down, or they get annoyed by critique. So I only provide as much information as I feel they can take. And if they ask me like, hey, what could I have done better? What do you think my tone should have been? What do you think like I'm missing? Or like, tell me when you think it's like, you're literally like I'm gonna do some takes. Just tell me when you hear something that you like a tidbit. And I'm like, oh, this crazy thing I learned in music college actually, like about blah 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 and stuff. And so, but you're receptive to it, which is sick, because almost 95% of people that come into the studio do want to think that they got it and they don't want to take direction. And I'm not saying that I'm the end all be all, but I do have some good wisdom, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Some Blake wisdom.
Some Blake wisdom, baby. Come on.
Let's go.
Yes. Come on, my guy. Hell yes.
So I'm going to ask you a question.
All right. Hit me.
So you're music producer, top liner, artist, engineer, all that,
Yes.
and entrepreneur, etc.
Right.
And what is out of your past and how you got here, what's one of your most embarrassing stories?
Oh, okay. One of my personal most embarrassing stories. Oh, man. That's crazy.
While you're thinking of it, you can show everybody your do not disturb socks and your 12
right?
shoes.
Okay. Do not disturb. We got some J's on right here.
Should our shoes kiss?
Nice. Oh, hey, there we go.
Hey.
Shoe boys. We said we were gonna start the podcast
It's
off
Shoe
like
Boy.
this. We were just gonna be like,
It's Shoe Boy.
how's it going, guys? How's it going? Welcome to the podcast.
Shall we pray?
Right? There we go.
Bro, I finally have legs. You know, like I've always been
Getting them squats in?
I've always been self-conscious about my calves. They've been so skinny.
I feel that.
My boy
I feel
Adrian Hernandez, Sleeping Giants Fitness, he's hooking it up, and I'm starting to get that dream body slowly but surely, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. No, when you start seeing the results, that's what makes the dedication and the meal plans and all the stuff kind of worth it. You're like, okay, I feel confident about myself, how I look.
True, but also I agree and I also disagree because as we've talked about before, there's like once you've set a goal and achieved a goal, set a goal, achieved a goal, set a goal, achieved a goal. It's like the start is the most fun.
It
where
is.
You're like, I don't have it.
It
and that's the
is.
same thing with what you're talking about in the studio, how like I have all these, 10,000 hours plus of experience with like production and all this stuff, but not with my voice. And so I almost really revel in and soak in the lack of skill that I have and go, this is growth. And so you get excited about the journey and you actually enjoy that process and then you win on day
100%.
one. Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be probably why there's been points in my life where I'm like repping 315 squat and I'm like yoked and like, or maybe not yoked, but like I am looking really good, feeling really good, pressing 225, like, but then, then you get there and you're like, all right, I got it. And then you just like, back to fast food and like bad sleeping patterns and stuff. And then it's like, and so, I mean, that's just the roller coaster is like an analogy you can kind of use for anything. But, and actually, I don't know how this came about, but speaking of that, made me think of the embarrassing story. It's not the most embarrassing story, but
An embarrassing story.
An embarrassing story. Right. I would say, it's crazy because now I am throwing a successful event company, but my very first show I tried to throw, I got, and I'm not going to say any names, but I got a couple of people to play at this venue and there was like an overhead and there was like a number I had to hit and I was like, oh, and I did the math in my head. If every person if these 4 or 5 people bring 50 people each and sell 50 tickets, then we make our money back and some. And so I was just like, hey, you good to bring 50 people? Okay, yeah. Oh, you're going to bring 50 people? Okay, cool. I'll bring maybe 50 people. I'll like you. And then I was like, cool. That's like 200 people that are going to come. We're sold. We're solid. Like I'm going to even make profit. I'm going to skip away with all this. No. I like showed up to this event and maybe each person brought like 10 people. I even brought probably more than some of the artists and I wasn't even performing. And so it was just to kind of throw a show and I was like, oh, I could do this. And yeah, at the very end of the venue was like, hey, you got to pay us, like we got to pay our staff out. And didn't have the money. So luckily I was a part of this artist collective and Tony, shout out Tony. He
covered you.
Huh?
He covered you.
He did. So he owned the studio, Artist Mafia Studios, and he worked at XS, and so I drove all the way. I was like, hey, I'll be right back, guys. I texted Tony. I was like, hey, I need 500. So I like went down to XS, and he was like,
Tony didn't have Cash App.
Huh? No, he straight up just gave me an envelope. He just gave me a whole envelope. Yeah, I don't think Cash App was a thing back then. Honestly, I really don't. This was like 7 years ago or something like that. It was BC before Cash, BCA before Cash App.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so I mean it's a learning lesson. But I mean I guess in business they say like you don't count the number of successes, you count the number of failures, which really helps you build to that never getting that failure again, right?
Right. Yeah, I love if a genie were to come out and say you have 112 failures until you reach your dream goal, then you'd be hurrying up to fail. Come on,
Right.
come on, come on. Another failure, another failure, another failure. Let's go,
That's a
let's
good
go.
saying.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's embarrassing, not being able to pay, but you got bailed out.
Right. I did get
So
bailed
that's
out.
good.
So thank goodness for that moment.
I actually have some game to drop for anyone who is in music that wants
Drop
to get
some
placements.
game
Because you just
for
made me think about that.
placements.
For placements.
I'm going
yeah.
to take notes right now. What are you about to say?
So what I used to do back in the day is I would go to a venue where a famous artist was playing, and I would just show up during sound check. During sound check is before the bouncers clock in.
Right.
So I'd show up at sound check. I'd make sure I was wearing something that looked similar to what someone working at a venue or working or on tour would wear, which is usually all black, right? Wear all black, maybe even have a little earpiece, something like that. And I'd walk in the front door. 50% of the time, no one's even there. The other 50% of the time, there's some gal up front. Hey, excuse me, sir, can I help you? And so what I learned was have your phone to your ear or have your earpiece like this and just be talking and just, hey, blah, 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 blah. And so when they say, hey, can I help you? No, I'm good. And then just walk in. Especially if you have like a little like bag of fast food or something, like you just went out and grabbed something, like you're on
man.
tour. And so what
What a
happened
lick.
was the venue thought I was with the tour thought I was with the venue,
Oh, wow.
right? So then what I would do is I would walk in and I would sit in a dark corner and just chill there. And as I would chill there and I'd be like, all right, at some point, the artist's going to go on stage.
Right.
My intention here is to identify who's here.
Bum rush the stage and be
Okay.
like, I'm Sunday.
Yeah.
Shout out,
I
I
love
love
you.
Sunday. Poof, get tackled. No.
Exactly. So I would just say, okay, there's the artist. Now where's the manager?
Right.
And I would just wait. And I would say, okay, that guy's probably the manager. It might be the tour manager or it might be his personal manager, but either way, blah, blah, blah. So then I would essentially approach someone from their team. It would either be the artist or it would be the manager or whoever it was. Like, hey guys, how's it going? I've been here for a couple years. It could be I work here. Who knows?
Right.
Been here for a couple years. Huge fan of so-and-so's. And we're just wondering if now is an appropriate time to make a submission, a track submission. I'm a music producer. And then either they'd be like, no, not now, or yeah, absolutely. Usually it's a yes,
Right.
right? And so I had a few situations where I was with some pretty big artists and I got an opportunity to do that. Sometimes it was even, hey, come on the bus. We'll just listen right now. And it worked out pretty well,
That's
like
wild. And then what happened when they like figured out that you weren't part of the venue? They just started laughing.
they never did.
Yeah.
Never did. I mean, I never said I was part of the venue.
Oh man, what a business move. That's so
That was like 20 to
intuitive.
21, 22, 23, 24. And then later I found other ways to get in.
Right.
But that was the intro. Here's my next question. If you could give your younger self advice, what would you tell yourself?
I would tell myself to be patient, first off, and to not react, and I feel like reacting is a big thing I've learned later in life. The funny thing is, oh, I already know what you would tell yourself, or like you said, like if I could go back and do anything. We've had this conversation before, something like that with
Yeah, superpowers.
exactly something along those lines. But yeah, I mean, I would tell myself to maybe just not react as harsh to things that people were saying, or when I was feeling, don't act on emotion. Yeah, I feel like I've answered this one in my head, but it's so funny. Like you're on the podcast and you're just like,
Right.
what would I do? And you're like,
Right,
oh no,
yeah.
of course I would do this. Like,
Right.
but it's like,
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
it.
I mean, I think those are pretty
Do you
solid
feel like
ones.
you were hella reactive?
super
kid?
super reactive as a kid.
Where do you think
I
that
was
comes from?
entitled. I had entitlement, and it was kind of ugly. And I thought I was the best, but not because of like the work ethic I put in and stuff. It's just because I had a natural knack at being good at things from the jump. So but I took that with entitlement, and I was like, no, I'm the best. And like it was like I like section myself away from other people that were doing stuff in the same division, and maybe even came off weird in the music community when I was first doing things because I didn't like lead with love. I didn't like lead with just genuinity and what I what I wanted to do, and how like the steps I needed to take to get there. And it was just, I just wanted the shortcuts. And when other people would succeed over me, I would get that envy. And I think that's human though, to get that envy about certain things happening. But the thing is reacting to it. It's fine to feel that feeling sometimes, but you do want to like eventually get away from feeling that feeling. But like when you feel like you're supposed to be at a spot that's deservative and then somebody else by you gets that spot, it's like it definitely needs to be, and it is now for me, like you won, I am full supporting you. Fuck yeah. Like you did it. You know?
I feel like if you don't support other people, then innately that says something about yourself, and it attracts a certain amount of energy and results or lack thereof to yourself. And look, we talked about earlier today in the studio, because every day before we do podcasts, we're doing a recording session for a couple hours. And so when we're over there at the studio, we talk a lot too. And we were talking about how there's a kind of like an evil or fear-based way to do things, like manipulation. And then there's a love-based way to do things, which is just like supporting everybody, bringing everybody up. And we talked about that concept of being the same person, talking the same about people when they're around as when they're not around, or doing the work the same way for your clients that you would do if they were over your shoulder, as if they're nowhere to be seen. Is like just having that self-respect and that self-discipline to show up and do your best at all times. It's like what I've noticed is when I do that, then no matter what anyone thinks about me, I don't care. And I literally say, there's a quote that I love, and it's not accurate all the time, but when you're your highest self, then you can say, what other people think about me negatively is none of my business. It's like, it's on them. But if you're acting out of your best self and you're not showing up with like empathy, with, what's the term you use all the time? The critical thinking.
Right.
By just really showing up as your best. Then when someone does say some shit about you, you're like, what are they saying?
Right.
What are they saying?
Right.
Because you don't know if it's real or not.
Exactly.
And then that dwindles away your confidence.
For sure.
Versus just having this level of confidence where you're like, I show up for myself. I show up for others. I always do my best. I'm a human. I fuck up. I make mistakes. But hey, if someone hits me up and they're like, hey, you really fucked up, then it's like, uh-oh, what did I do wrong? But it's not like, oh no, what did they find out?
Right. Because if you're just being your genuine self that's actually like very caring and loving and compassionate, and you're always that type of human being, then you have nothing to worry about, because you're just like, oh, like something happened, like this and that. But yeah, it's like when you are sleazy and manipulative and something, then it's kind of like, it's just it's probably so bad for your mental health just because you're doing all these things behind the scenes. It's probably eating away at you deep down, unless you're like a narcissist, I guess. But it just like being okay with somebody portraying you as that, or maybe taking somebody's money and not giving them a good product, and just like being okay with that. And it's like, dang, like, does that even affect you in the smallest bit when you sleep at night?
And I mean, I've been there. We've all been there before. Like, I remember, I don't know when it was, maybe high school, maybe college, when I noticed that I was lying quite a bit. Just little stupid little white lies. So like, oh yeah, I was at Joe's on Thursday. It's like, actually you weren't at Joe's on Thursday. You talked to Joe on the phone on Wednesday. Like, little stuff like that. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to make it a thing where I'm going to stop lying about these stupid little things. So it's always, but one thing that I really am super passionate about is the idea of being a whole human being. And what I mean by that is like being able to be what we're talking about now, which is like a good person, holistic person. And also, hey, I want to be a fuckboy today. I want to go, do some crazy shit, or like we were talking about before, tell some immature, some dick jokes or whatever. It's like, I like the whole spectrum of the human experience, and being able to do all that. Hey, if I want to hang out on a yacht with some strippers, and then I want to go to church and pray, and then I want to go to I want to meditate and go to yoga, and then I want to go tell some dick jokes, and then I want to do a TED talk, and then I want to talk to my clients.
Right.
And it's like, I don't like this idea, and I think social media kind of has portrayed this a lot, where it kind of forces you into a box. Like,
For sure.
like you must create a separate account if you're going to be anything other than Blake Wisner, the producer.
Right.
Now, okay, oh, you're doing this other thing, you better have a whole separate identity
Right.
for that. And that's okay, because it's not like they built it that way. But I think that it's important to remember, like, I can't even imagine just like being in like office culture and being scared of, oh my God, what if they find out that I went to the BDSM thing with my girlfriend? Right?
Yeah,
And it's
right.
it's like, as they say, what's the term? Hopefully I can remember this. It's really funny. It's you can be a Buddhist, you can be a nudist, but you can't be a Buddhist that's a nudist, right? It's just then you'll get ostracized from society.
Oh my
Right? It's like,
gosh.
if John comes into the office and he's like, I'm John. Oh yeah, John. What about John? Oh, he's our tech guy. He's a Buddhist. It's
Right.
like, oh, it's cool. Yeah, okay, he's got his thing. It's like, or even that's John. He's a tech guy and he's a nudist.
Right.
Oh well,
It's
that's John. He owns it.
duality.
Right, duality.
Literally.
But as soon as you put that extra one in there, he's like, he's a weirdo. And then they get ostracized from society.
Right.
And so I'm against that. I like the idea of like, look, I want to be fully out there. It's like, there are places and spaces for different things. I'm not going to talk about my sexuality in the workspace, or I'm not going to tell these, immature jokes, but I want people to know that it's okay to be a whole person.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no like red flag, like, hey, like, it's pretty, I mean, yeah, there's maybe a couple things, but for the most part, it's like pretty wide, like a wide range of just like, not trying to box yourself in. I think that's awesome.
Who's that attractive to?
We-
Oh no! See,
yeah.
look, I was just about to compliment
snap.
you, and then it
It
switched
is
over to
pointing
me.
on you. I
Yeah.
love that.
Who's that attractive guy right there?
Do we want to pop off these
Do we wanna
random
pop
phone
off?
calls?
I don't know if we
Or
should
do we
do that
want
on-
to pop off,
I don't know,
bro?
we should do that on camera.
Should we? No. Just
No, no popping.
champagne, just like
champagne.
random bottle. Do we want to call these numbers?
Let's do it. You first.
All right. Okay. So what we're doing is we asked a person in our life to call in and say the most embarrassing story about us without us knowing what the story is. So
Not just any person.
yes, well,
Ex-girlfriend.
ex-girlfriend. So I'm gonna be calling my ex-girlfriend Allison, and I mean I'm kind of like
You nervous?
she saw some pretty crazy stuff during this relationship and some pretty embarrassing things, and I was a lot during the time being when I was with her. So, but we unveiling everything on this podcast. All right,
All
we
right,
ain't
so-
holding back. So who are you calling?
So I'm calling Desiree, an ex I had quite a while ago, and she and I met. Well, I'll tell you. I can't. I don't want to ruin it because I don't know
All
if she's
right.
gonna tell.
All right,
But her name's Desiree. She's an ex, and we're gonna ask her what her most embarrassing story with me is.
Ooh, let's go.
What do you call it when somebody off somebody professionally?
Off somebody, like
Like kills them.
cancels, eliminates.
Like when you hire somebody.
Oh, hitman. She's not answering either. There we go.
Hello, this is Desiree.
Hello, is this the hitman line?
You got the right number.
Okay, awesome. I just like to off a couple of people. Is it? I got this on Groupon, so is it cool?
You got a 2-for-1?
Yeah, I got the 2 for. Yeah, she's from Oakland, so we know she's hood.
Right,
you know?
right.
And she's Greek, so
Of course.
she just hired all of her sisters. She's got like a million Greek sisters, so they all just go out and just off people all
Oh
day.
my gosh.
Hey, Des.
Big fat Greek mafia.
Big fat Greek mafia, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, we're on the air right now with myself and Blake Wisner, and we're calling you to ask you for an embarrassing story that you know, or any kind of story. It doesn't have to be embarrassing. It could be funny. It could be silly. It could be crazy. Any story that you know that relates to you and I.
I had to go into the archives.
Oh
And
man.
probably the story of how we met's really funny. Because I used to work for a company called Hot or Not. First kind of dating website.
Oh
online.
snap.
Way back in the day.
I used that vigorously back in the day.
So did our friend.
Oh, so did Nate. Sunday.
Yeah, and so this was during a period of time when the company was really small, so I was managing like a lot of operational items and also like customer service. And he was a paid member and wrote in. And I can't remember what he was like asking about, but
It was you guys denied my picture. It was a picture of me with no one else. I was the main part of the photo. And I very eloquently and systematically had to email saying this picture is legit, you know? Don't hate on the gun show. I'm trying to
Oh my gosh.
and so like obviously I'm like the only person answering these emails, and I'm like, okay, let me help this guy, and I have to log in and troubleshoot. And I end my message with, okay, cheers, hope you can access it now. And
cheers.
Cheers.
For whatever reason, like the cheers I think got you. And you kept like writing back. And I had to pull from the archives. I think your username was Cashew503.
Cashew503
At AOL.
Oh my god.
So then I'm like dying laughing, and you write back, and I think you had like ended the email, and instead of putting your name, you put an N and an 8, and then you at one point you put daddy. And I'm like, who is this jackass?
But I put cheers, Nate Daddy.
Then you put
Oh my
cheers.
god.
So, then you had like an inside connection to customer support. So
Right. And
the rest was history.
right. The rest was history. And that's her side of the story. So my side of the story is that I was a testosterone overfilled 20-something-year-old boy who was just like, I mean, I guess I just wasn't getting enough luck on the app. And something told me deep in my wisdom intuition that this was a really hot girl, right? Answering. I mean, I saw the name Des or Desiree, whatever it was. And I was like, it's a woman. Maybe she's not 80 and maybe she's attractive. Or even if she is 80, maybe she's attractive.
Oh my god.
And so when she wrote a message and there was nothing really to work with except cheers.
Right.
So I was like, cheers. Who says cheers? Right. Like that kind of thing. And then at some point I asked her for her Hot or Not profile, which is basically Tinder, right?
Right.
It's old school Tinder. It's Hot or Not, the OGs. And
The OG.
and she said, well, it just so happens that our team recently required us all to create test accounts so that we could check for bugs. So if you'd like, feel free to test out my account.
Oh.
And boy, did I want to test out that account.
Oh my gosh.
So all I will say is, the crescendo music, the movie crescendo music played as I hovered my mouse over that blue link. And when I clicked on that link, the first feeling that I felt was pure excitement, and the second feeling I felt was an overwhelming sense of this chick is way out of my league, and there's absolutely no chance.
Oh, I love it.
And so yeah, that's the end of that story. She made a smart move. She's happily married now.
Oh, I love it.
You know, she just, we dated for a while, and I was like this fun kid. I think I was fun. This fun kid. She was a homeowner. up in the hills. It's like she was so out of my league. She was doing me a favor. It was like charity week.
Oh,
And she was just like, you know what? I'm going to give this poor boy a break.
man.
But I did end up working at Hot or Not.
Oh, really? Nice. You got a job out of it?
She hired me on the team.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Shoot. Did you then utilize that to reach out and ask other people and other girls about their accounts and stuff, being an administrative?
All right, this call's over. Time's up.
He used his test account wisely.
Right.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Oh, that's great.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's been good going down memory lane.
Yeah. It's been real, as you
Man.
say.
It's been real.
Well, thanks, Des. That was great. And
Yeah, for sure.
thanks for being one of the most like light-hearted people and that I know. I love every time we chat. We always giggle about something funny. So I appreciate you.
Awesome. And my outro is cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, Des.
Cheers.
Bye.
Wow. Oh, shoot. That's hilarious.
That was great.
Man, that's so funny. What we're like started off with a Des and now we're kind of ending with a Des.
Yeah.
You
look at
know?
that.
That's
Man.
funny.
Yeah.
Should I give my girl one more call?
Let's do it.
All right, let's see. I'll try this one more time. Dang, I was like, don't commit to this unless you're down.
Oh, she's picking up. What's happening?
Now it's going through.
Hello.
Ah, there we go. I called a couple times. It wasn't going through, but we got you now.
Hello.
Hi, you're on air right now with me and Sunday at Sticky Paws.
Perfect. Hello, you guys.
Yes. So yeah, we just went through an embarrassing story with Sunday over here, and how he met his ex-girlfriend off Hot or Not. And do you remember what Hot or Not was?
Was it like a show?
It's like Tinder. It's like a Tinder, and she was like an administrative assistant, and he like started hitting on the administrative assistant, and then they started dating. But it was a good one. But yeah, what I'm curious to hear what story you have came up with, because I know there's a bunch of ones that I'm very scared about.
He's
but,
shaking his leg right now. He's nervous.
Yeah, definitely. But
Nervous.
yeah, go for it. I'm ready for the punches.
Okay, do you have time for one or two?
Start with one.
I think we got time for one.
Got one. Okay. The first one that kind of comes to mind, Blake, you are a special person. But one time that I really remember was like so shocking for me, and it was like, is this really happening? Kind of like a pinch me moment. Was I don't know, I can't really remember like what we were doing, but I just remember obviously you were drinking and we were sleeping together. I think this was at your old house. This was at your old house when you lived with Tyler as your roommate. But we were sleeping and I woke up because I heard this weird noise, and I look over and you are peeing on your carpet. Like just full out peeing on your carpet, standing up, like, and you have no idea where you are, and you're just peeing on your carpet in your room, and I start screaming at you, and I'm like, Blake, and I like get out of the bed, and I like push you to stop, and I'm like, go to the bathroom, like, just peed all over your dresser and the floor, like, so you were so drunk, you didn't know where you were, and you started peeing in your room.
Oh my God, I do remember that story.
Is there
yeah.
a reason why you were peeing?
I just remember, like, I remember coming to, and like,
Wait, you came too?
I like kind of came to in the middle,
Oh, you came
in the
to.
like midstream, and like I guess I was so inebriated. I thought it was like a dream that I just stood up at. I don't know, but yeah, like I remember coming to, and I started.
Like you were at the toilet, but you were just standing up peeing on the carpet in your dresser.
And this is why you're sober now, right?
And this is why I'm sober. This is why I'm sober right now. Oh my gosh. That's so funny. I remember immediately going into defense mode though, right when I like came to, and I was like, "What are you talking about? You're wild. What are you?" And I was like, no, I'm not. What are you, crazy? I'm not." And then like you're like, "Yes, you did. Yes, you did." And we were fighting, and then I try to like play it off as like I would never do that, and then like I don't even know. Then you're like, "Look at this. What is this?" And you like took me over to the dresser, and there was just like piss all over the dresser, and there was piss all over the carpet. And I was like, "Oh shit!" And I was like, "Okay,
like, oh
I'm
my
sorry."
God, you're worse than a dog. I'm
Oh
like,
my
you're worse than a dog. Like, that is human pee everywhere. It's disgusting.
Oh my god.
Did you make him bark after that?
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely barked at him.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, she was
shit.
barking at me for sure. Oh. Oh, that's amazing. We'll have to get you on the podcast sometime out here, but I know we're kind of running over time right now. We're supposed to end at 4:30, but I appreciate you for saying that story and putting me on blast. And I might have to call back another time for story number 2 because that was really good.
Encore.
Oh, I've got
Encore.
plenty. So.
Oh man. Oh, that was really good. Well, thank you for hopping on. I appreciate you. I love you.
course.
And
Good to hear your voice. Good to hear your voice.
yes, awesome to hear you as well. And hope everything's good. Shout out Lil Tay, choreographed by this girl. Literally choreographed the Lil Tay music video, the one that just went viral. So that was huge. But
Yes.
yeah, fucking just want to give it a little shout out there. But appreciate you, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
All right, you guys have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
All right. Now to end it, let's wrap it up with what we said we were gonna do because we followed through with what we said. How you feeling?
That was hilarious. That was good. I was like, I had an inkling in me that might have been the story, but
Yeah.
it's just really funny though how she explained it. But
Yeah.
oh man,
Hey,
great times.
you know, we're humans. Let's ask ChatGPT for one crazy question that we can both answer before we wrap it up.
All right,
Cool.
go
All right.
for it.
All right. Question.
Give us a question on business, psychology, or music.
We're currently on a podcast. Please give us our final question to wrap up.
I love it. Using
Of us.
you got to
to
use
answer.
please when you're talking to ChatGPT or AI.
Or else it gives you a bad answer.
Gives you bad answer. Gives you better information if you say please.
You want to give it topics or just leave it open or what?
I mean, the last time we didn't give it topics, it kind of like gave us some
Vague.
weird, vague question or something.
right.
So maybe I like psychology, music, and business. I feel like those are 3 topics I'm pretty keen on knowing.
Psychology, music, business. Can I put relationships in there?
Yeah.
And it can be as like edgy as you'd like.
Uh-oh.
Boom. Discuss the psychological impact of navigating relationships within high pressure, often image driven context of the music business. Can the blending of personal and professional lives in such an environment be sustainable, or is it invariably destined for complexity and conflict?
Do you want me to go first?
Sure.
All right. So, I mean, I feel like navigating relationships is definitely something you learn as you grow in music business, in business in general. But just like navigating maybe who you have to navigate with and like picking the right people to navigate with so it's easier to navigate with them. And the question was like, what? How do you navigate relationships, or how do you?
How do you navigate relationships in the situation of, like, let's say for example, you've recently been doing shows and not necessarily like touring or whatever, and just like, can you be in a relationship and leave and be on a stage in front of all these people and maybe women who are is that possible to do? Can you navigate that relationship while being who you are in the music industry, having done all these big done all these big songs and so on and so forth?
So how to navigate the like running an event versus doing my own brand, or how to navigate?
I would just say answer it however you feel.
I mean, yeah, I'll just kind of go back to the general. It's like, yeah, you navigate. I feel like navigating in a way, that first is like healthy to you in the way of navigating. And, yeah, I mean, obviously not reacting in certain situations. That's a big thing that I've had to learn. And, yeah, it's just surrounding yourself with the right-minded people, and also knowing that there's enough for everybody to eat. You know, doesn't mean that you have to overfeed everybody, but it's like, you know, don't like, you should give out blessings when necessary. And I don't like gatekeeping too much. I do understand that information is valuable, but you know, there's always people that are going to be hungry for that information, and so it's just figuring out the right people to open those gates for and stuff. It's not just like, hey, I'm just gonna post all my contacts and everything on social media for everybody to see and stuff like that, but navigating in a correct way to people that may help you in the future, may or that you believe in and that you think are good human beings, and allowing them to have resources because they're good people, and you know, putting on the people that you would like to put on.
Right.
So
Yeah, crucial. That's funny because I took that question completely differently, and I was thinking like romantic relationships. Like, how do you navigate a romantic relationship if you're in the music industry around all this, you know, craziness?
Right.
And so for me, I would say that, and I'm not going to open a can of worms because we're wrapping up here, but because I have the ideology for myself, not for anyone else, of kind of open relationships and having really open communication with people about really uncomfortable things, and how that creates more opportunity for to get closer with someone, to be more intimate with someone when you do tell them things like, hey, you know, my girlfriend says, hey, I'm attracted to that guy. Hey, I was in New York and I spent 2 days partying with this dude, and then we talk about that. And so I enjoy the idea of having those uncomfortable conversations with people so that we can get past that and create this even safer space for each other to have a more fulfilling and thriving relationship.
I like that.
Good.
Love that. Yeah.
Want to end with a beatbox?
Do you want to hit the beat or the bass line?
Oh, definitely. I'm the lead and you're the drums.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me a nice bass line.
Okay. Hey,
Let's go, my guy.
More than meets the mic.
Hell yeah, more than meets the mic.
Let's go.